14 years. I haven't found them. Anyway, so got up yesterday morning, slept in till he left to go golfing, quickly got an Uber, bought myself a plane ticket, flew home. Left him a note, wishing you the best, we're not a match. I'm done dating, you guys. Men.
Why are you telling us about it then?
It's just like...
You didn't have to tell us, just go away. It's like that old saying, don't go away mad, just go away.
Anymore. It's like they're grown up in their bodies, but their minds never grow up.
You can't accept other people, but you're telling us how childish men are.
Right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 2 of Mr. Hyde. I want to bring you to attention. This is a video that was someone else's, actually, that Taylor the Fiend also went over. And this woman actually has a lot of audacity to sit and call men childish when she left a man sitting and didn't even have the common courtesy to or the maturity to go up to this man and say, look, we're not meant for each other. This isn't, what I thought it was or anything. She just leaves him a note and runs. But she's on here talking about how men are childish. Okay, let's go on to something else here, because this woman is actually a liberal, very liberal. And again, this show isn't about politics, and I don't want to ever confuse you into thinking this is politics. Personally, I lean to the right. Myself, my wife was a Democrat, and me and my wife got along beautifully for 20 years. We had a couple of fights, and my wife, passed away suddenly in August of 2020. So, but I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot more than some of the guys here, and I hear them talking, and there's things that I agree with and things I disagree with about. But let's get right to my introduction, and then we'll discuss this after we start up again. All right. Let me get back where I was. Now, this woman, I'll be honest with you, in my opinion, she's a complete lunatic. I can see her spending the rest of her life as a cat lady. It's possible that things could change for her. But I'm gonna tell you a little something about this. And again, I make no presumptions about anyone. And a lot of these women, they get these fixed ideas in their head, and they talk about men being superficial, while they're the ones who put on makeup to change their look. They say we're superficial, but then they won't date a guy who's overweight. They say we're superficial, but they won't date a guy who's under 6 foot tall. They say we're superficial, but they won't date a guy who doesn't have a 6-figure bank account. This goes on and on. I've seen some of the craziest lists that you've ever possibly could have imagined out there, that these women, they just absolutely, it's astonishing. I can't believe they think that, like, every man is given the same exact opportunities. Well, it's true, but it's not. I grew up very poor, and I can tell you, from my opinion, not everyone has the same opportunities in life, and I know that we all have a chance. The chances and things that happen are never exactly the same for everyone. I mean, you talk about people who have literally destroyed family life in America. This man right here, in my opinion, was one of the most corrupt, racist, and evil men in political history. And his Great Society programs, really, again, this isn't about politics, but it's to point out that this man created the Great Society programs from the original New Deal that was by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and he made it even worse. He destroyed the nuclear family in the United States of America, literally single-handedly, and he did it out of pure spite because he was angry in 1964 when the Republicans passed the Equal Rights Amendment and gave blacks and minorities the right to vote, which they already had, but this was supposed to codify it where there was no questioning it. But this man, just to get even, and he said something very derogatory, and I won't post that here because it got me suspended on Facebook for posting it, about blacks. And I have blacks and mixed people of all kinds in my family. So again, let's get back to the point. Now these women, they think that men had this great easy time in life dating, when this man right here made it so hard for a man. A man can work his whole life, and to me maybe that doesn't seem like a big deal to these women. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but the truth is it's terrible that a man can work his whole life and then someone can just come in and take everything he has. Like it's nothing. It's nothing to them, and they see no real wrong in what they're doing. You see, so it's actually astonishing that women don't have any comprehension that what they're doing is wrong here. You would think they had this idea in their head that the government always made every decision they made was 100% accurate, and it's never been the case. As some of the founding fathers had said, that inevitably when you give power to men, it corrupts them. And so, as they said, power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And these women have absolutely no idea of the struggles they put men through. And then even the Chad thing, that's even worse. That men, or they talk about, again, the superficial side of men, but they pick men based on their size, their looks, their money, their bank account, their attitude. Everything has to be perfect. And as I said, I don't want it to be this way between men and women, but they think that men are going to be worse off for never having a woman, or that a man has no choice, or a lot of these girls think I'm the queen, and these men, they ain't gonna get nothing. I ain't gonna get. A lot of these men don't even want them anymore, so they're telling the man who doesn't want them that they ain't gonna get them, and the man's like, I don't really care. It's to the point now that men know they have a lot more to lose by getting with these women, and that these women really, there's no empathy towards the man at all. And they talk about superficial, and everything is materialistic. And again, I understand that it takes the material to survive. It takes material, but that's the way the system has been set up. See, from as long as we've all been alive, we were born into it. We lived through it. We're in it. So there's no way for a man to get around it, and then he goes through it and he builds up this great fortune of his own, and this woman comes in and takes everything he has, and there's really no remorse for her, and there's no loss. So there's nothing to lose for her. Men have everything to lose. On this clip from Locke the Bounty Hunter, this woman is talking about, men, because she's 30 now, men don't want to date her. Well, and then she wants you to feel sorry for her. Now, this woman has been dating guys who are probably in their 30s through all of her 20s. And now she's acting like, now then any guy older than that, it's gross if they come, But then she's been the one all this time who set her standards up so high that none of the regular guys could ever date this woman. Now, the Chads don't look at her as an option anymore, so now she's mad at all men because the Chads don't see her as an option, and then they got all these younger women they can chase. But this woman, her whole life, she's had her standards so high that most men, there's probably been 100 guys she passed up that were just as good or not better than Chad that she dated, but she overlooked him because he didn't fit her idea, of what a man should look like or be, or, and then she wants to play the pity card that you should feel sorry for her because she made bad choices through her whole 20s and dated the wrong man. But now somehow that's all your fault. Now all men are bad because those Chads mistreated her that she chased. You see what I mean? A man cannot win in a situation with women like this. And, I want us to get past this, but I can't change the world. And these women, I've seen a couple men, talking about that, they can't, it's like there's no self-awareness there to say, you know what, maybe I am wrong. Maybe these men are just not that different from me, or maybe, they're just having just as hard a time as we are, or that they're struggling through life and they're having difficulties, but they don't see any of that. They're so narcissistic. It's all about me.
I've never understood why men treat women in their 30s as if they are like the most undesirable things on the planet. Like, excuse me, sir, but I was in my 20s only a couple months ago, but now that I have a 3 in front of my age, God forbid, I'm like a different person? It makes no sense at all. And I could say the same about men. Some people just don't age as gracefully, and you know what? That's fine. You have to look at those things because age is just a number.
Age is just a number, but here in about 10 seconds, she's going to go around and reverse course and contradict what she just said, and she's going to start attacking men who date younger women, despite the fact that the age is just a number, right? That's what she just said. So now she's going to attack men and say it's gross, even though in her 20s she was dating men who were and probably well into their 30s. Who knows how old she went? That's what she's saying now.
I don't think I'm alone in saying this when I say that it makes perfect sense why men no longer find you desirable, and the reason why you're pretending not to understand is because it's been at least 96 months since men have found you desirable. You see, back when you were young and you had some value on the dating market, you were used to men throwing themselves at you while you got to ride on Lord Chadford's carousel. You were getting all sorts of attention in bars and on social media and the dating apps, and you assumed that these men thought you were special, so you never worked on any other desirable traits. Now, here you sit, alone on your bed and confused as to why men don't want you anymore. And instead of blaming your lack of personality and terrible life choices, or those god-awful nails which just make you look unsanitary, you're just gonna blame men for following their basic biological instincts. Sure, why not? Whatever you gotta do to help you sleep alone in that bed, sweetheart.
Men fetishizing women in their 20s, or God forbid even younger, is gross. I'm sorry. That's the same type of man that's gonna grow up to be this 70-year-old man dating younger women, and it's just wrong, but nobody bats an eye at that, and I'm thinking, what is going on in your head to make you want to do that? Like, obviously a screw is loose or something. It's not a cute look. Sorry.
What?
Hang on, you mean to tell me that you were going after men your own age back when you were in your prime? You're gonna sit there and tell me with a straight face that you weren't going after men in their 30s back when you had value? Because something tells me that when those men lusted after you, you didn't find it gross back then, because you're forgetting one key thing. Women control access to the bedroom. If a woman in her 20s sleeps with a rich man in his 70s, how is that somehow the man's fault for being creepy? The woman made the active decision to sleep with him. Now, I get it. You're jealous and insecure, and you've clearly run out of options. So it makes sense for you to make a pathetic attempt to save face by trying to shame us, but that's really not a good idea, woman. If you can't even save your face by using makeup and filters, how do you expect to win an argument about human pair bonding?
Now, being that this is only my second Jekyll and Hyde video, I'm going to go into something that I discussed in another video I did on another channel. Truth is my channel on Truth is my channel on Rumble. I did a video there called The Perfect Match. And now I was thinking about something the other day, And I've listened to Manosphere and Taylor the Fiend and Locke and Detective Warg and Hyde the Mummy and Pearl, you know, all these people talking about MGTOW and The Wall, a couple other ones. I'm just gonna. I think I owe them all an apology because I said something that I think now was wrong. I was thinking about something that I had said in a video, and I realized something that I hadn't thought about before. When I made that video years ago, maybe this is hard for somebody to accept. For years, I had this dream. I kept having the same dream over and over again with the same girl. And I had it in my head that this was the perfect girl for me. And I was thinking about something recently, and I made a video. Actually, just so you know, I wrote a short story version of it, and I sent it somewhere. And this was in the 80s, okay? It ended up in a movie. No, I'm not getting into who and how and where. But it ended up in a movie. And this scene from this movie, I was thinking about something. And I had said to them that I disagreed with them about people not having a perfect match. And then it dawned on me something I hadn't thought about before. And that is, just because you have a vision of someone in your future doesn't, and that is the person's there at that time, it doesn't necessarily mean that would be the exact only perfect person for you. And I had drawn this person, even fed her picture into an AI machine, and I was blown away because when the picture came back from the AI, it looked just like her. But I think I was wrong about that. So my apologies to Taylor the Fiend, to Manosphere, to Locke, to Hyde. I was wrong. I think I was wrong. I think because I saw a vision of one possible future that never happened anyway, and being who's to say that it won't, but at this point it never has. So I maybe it was in my head that was the perfect person, but I don't think that's the case. I think what it was is that's just the person that was there at that time. Not necessarily meaning that that's the only one that could be there or that's the only way that would ever happen. That just happens to be the one that was there. But anyway, I'm going to cut this video a little short now and cut off. And again, this is only my second video, and so I won't necessarily just take parts of the other guy's videos and just put them in. I will generally try to do a whole commentary and on a video and not just bounce around like I did today. But again, this is my second video. So anyway, you all take care, and Mr. Hyde out.